Morning, everybody. Joan Zodianz here with another episode of Spiritual Zundayz, and today we are going to be talking more in detail about Mercury retrograde and trauma. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit more about yourself in the first week of Mercury retrograde. I'm still like half asleep. For me, it's been hitting me really hard emotionally, really opening up those past traumas, those past wounds that I haven't been dealing with. And everybody has them. You know, anybody that sits around and is a professional healer and says that they're 100% on point or, 100%, always happy are people that are phonies to me. As a healer, you're always constantly evolving, meaning you are always constantly, thinking of ways to better yourself as a person. And everybody deals with past trauma, whether it be sexual trauma, racial trauma, physical trauma. It could be any kind of trauma that you've dealt with mentally, emotionally, or physically, or even spiritually. And going through a Mercury retrograde is difficult because any Mercury retrograde can be difficult. But this one in particular, because it's under Pisces, is really hitting home, right? It's really hitting you where it really hurts. It could be very personal or it could be relationships, right? So if you find yourself not getting along with your partner or not even getting along with people you work with, a lot of it has to do with everybody's trauma kind of just coming up or suppressed emotions that people just have been ignoring. If you're doing well under a Mercury retrograde, then you're probably born under a retrograde, or you are somebody who has a lot of self-awareness and spirituality, so you are actually thriving under a retrograde. A lot of times, we want to escape from our emotions. We want to escape from our traumas. So we kind of bury ourselves in something that will help us escape from reality. Okay. And if you're one of those people that kind of have just been suppressing things, usually you're a strong person throughout the year where you're just like, I'm just going to leave it in the past and I'm just going to move forward. It's usually very successful people who find themselves getting hit really hard during a retrograde. Now, that doesn't mean that you're unsuccessful if you're feeling it or not feeling it. I mean, it just means that maybe you're just resolved with everything, or you've resolved everything that you needed to, and life is great for you. Great for you. I, on the other hand, even though one area in my life can be amazing, there is always a small part of me or something that is unresolved or something that will come up that I have to take as another lesson in my growth. I never try to ignore or suppress emotions, or whether it be bad or good. With the Earth Guides, I have been working on building a community, a coven, a group of women of color who have taught me a lot about myself and expressing myself in ways that I didn't think I could anymore. And if you've had a lot of past trauma with women like I have, like my dad, he had multiple wives and they were each very abusive towards me and my sister. And these are things especially family issues. They will continue to sometimes come up during retrograde because they're family. What can you, it's very difficult to stop feeling pain from family. I think for me, for strangers, I could care less. It is what it is. I move the fuck on because there's deeper issues that I have to deal with, and still to this day. And so working with this group of women, powerful women, it's mind blowing to me actually, because I dealt with a lot of trauma from women, and now it's women that are healing me. You know what I mean? It's crazy how that works. And it's not just these women. I've had a lot of strong women role models in my life as I got older. And I had to, overcome that in myself to be a strong woman because I was put down a lot when I was young. And so and I know I'm getting a little vulnerable with you guys, but you're gonna need to get vulnerable with yourself too. I mean, get comfortable. I'll get comfortable because I'm in my feels today, and I have been for the past couple of days in a good way though. I call it more of a purge. I'm not dwelling on past things. I'm not dwelling on things that are, like in making me a toxic person or that made me a toxic person in the past. Does that make sense? Today, I kind of reflect on these things as I'm emotional, and I reflect on all of these circumstances in a good way, in a healthy way. Like I process emotions in a healthy way. And that's what I'm trying to teach you guys. When bad things come up, you usually can find yourself like drifting or dwelling or spiraling in your swamp is what I call it, because the energy feels heavy and you're going to be crying a lot. When you process things in a healthy way, you're seeing it from a more philosophical point of view, from a higher point of view, a spiritual point of view. And you're like, that happened to me. But look at how far I've come from that. That made me who I am today versus, that made me a bitter person today, a salty person today. Those people did that to me. Like, I no longer blame other people. Like, I used to be like that when I was young. I'm turning 33 this year. So yeah, no. I don't do that. I don't do that anymore. And like I said back then, I was a very toxic person. I was very self-sabotaging. I didn't go around trying to hurt other people. It was more taking it out on myself and blaming myself for all of the things that I had went through in my upbringing. And so, when you have a rough upbringing, you tend to blame yourself a lot. And hopefully this hits home for some people out here in learning how to deal with things. Spirituality for me has helped me a lot. It's really opened up a part of me that nothing else could. Nothing in this world can take that from me now. Like, I feel much lighter. I feel like I can fucking breathe. You know what I mean? I understand things. I no longer point the finger at people. I know how to, regenerate, recharge, redefine my energy. Like, I'm in a place where I'm happy with myself. I love myself and I take accountability for myself. And I'm no longer involved with people who are toxic to me or try to, take me out of character or try to make me a bad person anymore. They don't infect my environment with their toxicities. And hopefully you guys can make that change for yourself as well. And it's the perfect time to think about these things because of the Mercury retrograde. I mean, you could think about it later on if you want to, but I feel like this is a powerful moment where emotions will play a big part of it. And you're either going to sink or swim. Pisces is a water sign. You're going to sink or swim. And hopefully you guys are not sinking. Hopefully you guys are swimming to the top and just taking yourself out of that bad situation already, out of that toxic situation with yourself or with somebody else that's, dragging you down. You don't want to be that superficial toxic person anymore. And I know I keep saying that, but it's true. You don't want to be that person. That's not happiness. Superficiality, material wealth are not happiness. And hopefully one day you guys understand that happiness really is the energy that you give to yourself by loving yourself for who you really are, not what you have. So let's just conclude it from there. And, if you're looking for spiritual guidance on any kind of trauma, then you can book a session with me or one of the Earth Guides at Zodianz.com. See you guys next week. Bye. Love you.